Welcome to Adult Education and Family Literacy Week and the Command Center, hosted by the Coalition on Adult Basic Education. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you. So, first, how are things in Houston?
They're hot.
It's still hot there.
No, honestly, things are fantastic here. We're super fortunate to live in a city that continues to grow, and obviously, adult education continues to expand as well. So, things are really good.
Just love it. Just love it. I have so my nephew works for NASA. He's out in Houston, and what a great city! And it's incredible what's happening out there because there's so much going on in the education space. Tell us a little bit about the work you do and what's going on at Houston Community College.
Sure. So I am the executive director over work-based learning and industry partnerships. And how that connects to adult education is we do a pre-apprenticeships. We work with our adult education team to connect to those digital literacy skills. But I work with all of our employer partners on really taking those, as we call them, IET programs and connecting them to our employer partners so that we can get those individuals jobs and careers as they come out.
That is super. So one of the most underutilized tools in our country is the idea or concept of apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship. Yes. Definitely going to be talking about that with you today. And you struck another chord with me with digital literacy. So we're going to dive into that as well. I'm curious. First of all, how long have you been at Houston Community College?
I just hit 5 years.
Hey, congratulations.
Time flies.
That's a milestone. That's pretty good.
It is. We just had our award ceremony. So.
I love it. So you've been there 5 years now. So I want to go back a little bit and tell us a little bit about the biggest accomplishment, or you can give me one or two of the accomplishments that you've had at Houston Community College when it comes to adult literacy.
Sure. I think one of our biggest accomplishments was winning innovation through the Department of Education, being recognized as an innovative practice. We launched the Career for You Academy numerous years ago, and that academy really formalized IET programs for adult education here in Texas, actually here in Houston. And as a result of that, that program continues to expand because, as we know, many students, when we talk about certificates and credentials, they don't necessarily know what that means to them. But when we put together Career for You Academy, we made it very easy for individuals to say, hey, look, this is medical. I want to be a medical assistant. So I want to go into the healthcare academy, or I want to go into the IT academy. So we really created a pathway for individuals, and that has been highly successful. I think the other program that we did is, through COVID, many of us had to figure out, what do we do? How do we get online? How do we get individuals online quickly? And so we were able to implement a fully digital program through that with our OneFlow product. And we actually were one of the first to actually design and develop that for adult education. And so that's probably another practice that really allowed us to get digital and did not allow a gap for students during that transition of going from on campus to online. And now, obviously so much has changed. We have that fully online capacity.
That's incredible. It's just so a few things. One is, can you explain, I like to always start off with this because I don't think there's enough awareness across the country of one of the most amazing tools that educators have and programming educators have, which is the IET, Integrated Educational Training. Can you just explain briefly for our audience what that is?
Absolutely. So the fantastic thing about this program is individuals can come in. They can pick an area of interest. So I gave an earlier example, healthcare or IT, both hot fields right now, right? So they can come in, we can get them their CNA, we can get them their cybersecurity certificate, all while they're also getting those skills. Even for those individuals that don't speak English, right? We can put them into an IET with that ESL component. We call it IETL Civics, where they're getting those ESL skills, but they're also able to get that certificate at the same time. So when they come out, in many cases, they might have a GED and a credential, and have learned English. And I mean, it's really an amazing opportunity for students so that, they're not going step by step. They can get it all done in one package. And it really depends on your program. It depends where you are in the country. But I know here at HCC, we provide that opportunity to
I
students to
I
do
love
one
it.
pathway.
Yeah, that's crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I love about, and the way I describe it, and I do some work with the Department of Education on IET across the country, and I always think of it as a math teacher teaching fractions in the same room or pretty darn close to the carpentry instructor teaching carpentry, and then weaving them together. And what it just makes so much sense, right?
Absolutely. And, having that contextualized component to the IET. So you're talking about fractions, teaching them that at the same time they come out and, even HVAC, they can
Yeah.
come out and they can go straight to work. And
And
that's
then
the most important thing.
Yeah, and then blending in on all of that, a workforce preparedness piece of all this,
Yes.
and then boom, it's like the full circle. You get
Yep.
everything right there. What a great thing. So we are celebrating and recognizing Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, and I'm curious, from your perspective, what is it that you'd hope to share out this week?
Absolutely. Well, I think more than ever, we do have this huge need for adult education. If we look at the kids in our schools right now, many of them are 2 years behind. So that means our parents are 2 years behind, right? So the best way to help your kids is to get educated and have those skill sets. And as we move, and the reason I mentioned digital literacy is because as we've moved fully digital, we've left a lot of people behind in that capacity. So, kids these days, they're all learning on computers when they go to school or in some kind of online fashion. And so their parents have to be able to help them and deliver it the very same way. And I'll give an example. My son's in 7th grade and everything is online. And if I wasn't able to sit there with him and know where to click and how to show him those things, it would be a huge challenge. So I can only imagine parents that don't have those skills, where their kids are. And so I think for adult education, it's just not about adults. It's about the whole family. And
For
so for
sure.
Adult Education Week, obviously we need to continue funding for adult education because it is so critical. And those skills will continue to be critical as employers say, hey, we need this and we need that here for the talent that we're hiring.
Yeah, we've talked a lot during the yesterday and in preparation for Adult Education and Family Literacy Week about digital literacy, how important it is, and recognizing that the Digital Equity Act is now in play and states are planning and gearing up for what's next. And we definitely think that and believe that education's got to be a key component of all that. And it's one of the things that we've learned during COVID really was we've recognized that, giving a laptop to a family and an individual, an adult learner is just one thing, but then their children need computers, right? And they also need access. Giving
Right.
somebody a computer and not being able to get online is a big challenge as well. So we're hoping that states really start thinking about what's next in their state as far as digital equity and digital planning so that everybody has access and an awareness and education regarding computer usage and digital literacy. You clearly are doing amazing work in Houston. You should be really proud. What would you say to adult educators, your colleagues across the country, when it comes to how important it is the work that you're doing?
Oh, I think our work is critically important. It starts with adult education. I say all the time, we're the entry door. When students come in, the first question they should say is, do they need these basic skills? And then we funnel them up. So we're triage, right? We get them going, we get them started, and then we point them in the best direction that's going to be suitable for their lives. And so, the role that you guys are doing, the role that everyone is doing in adult education is so critical because they're truly foundational skills for our country. And without those skills, we will not be successful. And employers can't be successful because they won't have the talent to hire to be competitive. So, first I want to say thank you to all of those adult educators because I know it is hard work getting these individuals from one level to the next level and on forward. And then, keep doing what you're doing because it's greatly appreciated. And, recently I had the opportunity to go to the City of Houston's Mayor's Breakfast, and we had some fantastic students talk about how digital literacy had made such a huge impact on their lives, and now they were able to get jobs, and that
Wow.
they wouldn't otherwise been able to get. So those are the kinds of things, and those are the kinds of stories that you love to hear, and it just really makes you realize the important work that we're doing.
So the importance of storytelling just can't be it can't be stressed enough. Being able to tell the story of those successes, not just of our students, but also of our teachers, and the programs that we have are so important. That's why we're so glad that we have you on. But we're here in Washington D.C. at the Command Center this week, and we're meeting with legislators not only here in Washington but across the country. And I'm curious, what is it that you'd like them to know from Houston when we talk to them about adult education?
Sure. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think we need to continue to make those connections with employers and let them know how colleges and how providers can help them from that adult ed piece. And it is so crucial. There's so many training programs out there, but integrating adult education into those training programs, whether it's digital literacy or fundamental skills or career readiness, whatever it might be, can really make a huge impact on the organization, even down to even up to the manager level. So it's not just adults that don't have skills; it's even those employees that need upskilling. So I would just like them to know to continue to support adult education, continue to invest in adult education, and really put a path forward. We're very fortunate that we have a congresswoman here who's really pushing financial literacy and skills for adult education, and we appreciate all of the support of both our congressmen and congresswomen across the country.
I just love it. It's just such great work that's going on just in Houston proper. I know that I received a call, I guess about 2 weeks ago from your city, and they were asking some input regarding working with men and women that were coming from the correctional setting, and looking at how we can get them smarter and skilled up. And Houston's doing some great work, so congratulations for all of that. So I want to give you my magic wand. We have it here somewhere, but I'm going to give you my magic wand. And if you had a wish for Houston and adult education, can you what would it be going forward?
Sure. Well, I would love to see apprenticeship continue to flourish. Over the last 2 years, there's been a huge push of pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship, and I'd really love to see a continued investment in that for the city of Houston. Houston is such a massive market, and there's such a huge need. And so those investments in those programs, continue to push that forward, because it's taken a bit to figure out how it all works. But I feel like, as a city, we have that process down, and we can continue to move forward and really make that expansion happen if given the opportunity.
I love it. So just real quick, so our audience knows, and we all can understand, the apprenticeship model is just an amazing model because you're really training people to do the job that employers need. And with the demand in the labor market today, training people for the positions that are open and available is kind of a triple win, right? It's a win for the individual because they're getting a career opportunity. It's a win for the employer because they're getting, quality labor and staff. And then it's a win for our economy because we're getting people back to work. And I love it. And then it's also a win for Dr. Robinson because she's getting to push her programs forward, right?
Right.
Good deal.
But it's also a win for those employers because we know the retention rate on those apprenticeships are so high, many cases upwards of 85%. So, if you're going to hire someone and you have the ability to put them into that kind of a role, an apprenticeship opportunity, or pre-apprenticeship, we know that retention is going to be greater. Not only earn where you learn, but try before you buy product.
Love it. Dr. Robinson, if people wanted to get more information about the unbelievable work you're doing in Houston Community College, how would they go about finding out about some of your programming?
Sure. If they go to hccs.edu/apprenticeship hub, and we have the Gulf Coast Region Apprenticeship Hub there, and they'll get not only apprentice information, but they can get adult education information on our site as well.
We love it. Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us on
you.
Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. We wish you well in Houston. I'm hoping I'll get out there soon and love to get to see some of your programming. But if you're out there, check it out. Houston really is leading the charge across our country when we talk about not only digital literacy, but also the pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs that they have going on. And during Adult Education and Family Literacy Week, this is where we have to really push these kinds of programs out. And Dr. Robinson, thank you so much
Thank
to you and
you.
your team out there, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon.
Sounds
Take care.
good.